Right here, right now, where I wanna be. Right here, right now, sure feels good to me. Right here, right now, where I wanna be. Just as the sun will shine, the cold winds will blow. Whoa. See, the more I learn, the less I know. Whoa, right here, right now, where I wanna be. Right here, right now, feels so good to me. Yes, right here, right now, that's where I wanna be. Could be late November, might be early May. Seasons change, that's okay. Yeah, yeah, right here, right now, where I wanna be. Yeah, right here, right now, feels so good to me. Yeah, yeah, right here, right now, where I wanna be. I'm breathing out and I'm breathing in. Yes, I am. Hey, getting comfortable in my own skin. Yeah, yeah, right here, right now, where I wanna be. Right here, right now, feels so good to me. Right here, right now, feels so good. Right here, right now, just like it should. Right here, right now, it feels so good to me. I'm loving what I see. I'm feeling so free. I got all my friends right here in unity. Right here, right now, is where I wanna be. Welcome, everyone. Let's rise up and let's sing some joyful songs. Rise up, oh my soul. Rise up, oh my soul. Rise up, oh my soul. Let the Spirit flow. Spirit flow. Rise up, oh my soul. Rise up, oh my soul. Show me the kingdom wherever I go. Hey. Rise up, oh my soul. Rise up, oh my soul. Rise up, oh my soul. Let the Spirit flow. Let it flow. Rise up, oh my soul. Rise up, oh my soul. Show me the kingdom wherever I go. Show me, Fred. Everybody sing, come on.
Rise up, oh my soul, let the Spirit flow, let it flow.
Yeah.
Rise up, oh my soul.
Everybody sing.
Rise up, oh my soul.
Show me the kingdom wherever
Well, good morning. Good morning, Unity Church of Overland Park. It's so good to see all of you this morning, those of you that are joining us in our online balconies on Facebook and YouTube, as well as everybody that's here in this room. I'm Reverend Eileen Stulak. I'm the Associate Minister here at the ministry, and it is such a joy to be here with all of you today.
And I am Reverend Jen, and as Reverend Eileen told me just as we were coming up, she said, let's have some fun.
That's
let's
right.
have some fun this morning. It is so good to be here with you. And somebody who is not with us here this morning is Danny Cox. We are sorry that he was unable to join us as our guest musician today, but we are so blessed by this amazing music team. Oh my gosh. We've got Terry Swope jumping in like the superhero that he is of music.
All right.
Reverend Fred, James Albright, and Brian Severs, thank you all so much. And to Stacy McIntosh, Lily, yes. I wanted to say Storm.
She's been having a really busy summer so far. We've missed you, Stacy. It's really great to have you back. And in just 3 more Sundays, we'll be welcoming back someone else we haven't seen in a while. But for today, we want to continue to just hold in our hearts our senior minister, Reverend Jackie Fernandez, who is on her sabbatical as we are on our sabbatical. And so we were going to start our service like we always do, and that's with some time of prayer. And so let's take a moment to just move within to our hearts, to turn within to Spirit, that ever-present, ever-loving energy that is always moving through us. And earlier this morning, I was speaking with a congregant about the sabbatical, and one thing that she offered to me was it was just a time where she was feeling drawn to just tap into the joy and to go with the flow. And so why don't we all follow that lead this morning and remember that joy is a part of us. It's not something we have to seek or get in any way. It is a divine quality within each and every one of us. And no matter what the outside world may look like, no matter the challenges that are just ours in our own personal lives, they don't negate the joy. In fact, sometimes it's just thinking or seeing, remembering one experience of joy that brings forth the next step to move through a particular challenge. And so we step into the flow of life this morning. All that it is, all that we are. And we do so remembering the joy, being expressions of joy. And allow Spirit to guide us forward just one step at a time. And now we do call Reverend Jackie into our mind, into our hearts, knowing that she's right here in this space and everywhere through Spirit. And on this particular Sunday, we hold a very special place in our hearts for her, as tomorrow she will be leaving for about a 1.5 week journey out of the country, going to Peru for a very sacred time of ritual and ceremony and holy and sacred communion with God, that presence within her. As we see the travels, the experiences unfolding with ease and with grace, great joy, as she continues to just take her next step into the flow that is her sabbatical. And we know that all of these things and more are possible because of that powerful presence that is within us, by whatever name we call it. And so let's affirm that presence and the truth about it together by speaking aloud this affirmative statement of prayer. For there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God, the source of all good.
And it is this source of all good that is behind every prayer request that comes in. For the prayers that we have received from this community this past week, we hold the knowing of the source of God as the healing presence that enfolds those who have requested healing prayer. God is the source of life itself, that life flow, moving with every breath as the radiant light, bringing about the perfect expression of health here and now. God is the source of divine guidance and wisdom for those who have sought counsel during times of transformation, growth, and change. We see the wisdom of God moving through them, guiding them, directing them towards their highest good. And for all prayers unspoken this week, those that have been held in your hearts, we hold with you that God is the source, the power, and the presence, the very answer to all your requests. And within the silence, we know this presence, and we know the truth that it is all good. And so it is. Amen. Hi.
Hi,
I'm still Reverend Jen.
and I'm Laura Carl, and we have some announcements for you. Oh, I'm first. This year's Fall Faith Series will begin on Sunday, September 29th, and the book we will use this year is Discovering Fire, Spiritual Practices That Transform Lives by Roger Wayne Woolsey. We are now forming small groups that will meet during the week at various times and places to continue discussions about the Sunday messages in a more intimate setting. Sign-up sheets for the groups and copies of the book for purchase are available in the cafe after the service. You will also be able to sign up online. Check this coming Friday e-news for the link.
And more great news, the men's group retreat is now open for registration. The retreat is taking place at the residence of Jim Crabtree on Friday, October 4th from 6 to 10 p.m. and Saturday, October 5th from 9 to noon. Activities include a Friday night drum circle with Mark Gosman, a bonfire, weather permitting, Saturday presentation with Tom Anderson, and a crystal bowl meditation with Patrick Andrews. You can find more details and a registration link in our e-news. You can also register on the sign-up form at the table at the back. The cost for the retreat is $100. If you register in person, please pay the fee at the book sales table.
The Good Faith Network, which UCOP is a member of, is calling on us to join them tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. at the Lenexa Planning Commission's meeting. We've been made aware that the city staff is planning to recommend against approving a special use permit necessary to continue moving forward with the proposed homeless services center. Good Faith Network will have several speakers providing the official position of the organization, but everyone is invited to fill the room as a show of collective and united public support for the center. We thank you in advance.
And now let's join together in speaking the joint vision statement of the Unity Movement. A world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening.
We have a very special element of our service this morning, and that is to bless into service our new prayer chaplain team. We had our training last Saturday, and so at this time I'd like to ask the current chaplains and the chaplain candidates to come forward and just form a line here in front of the platform. And as they make their way here, I will let you know that we also want to honor and acknowledge two of our chaplains from this past year who have decided to step back from the program and take a little break. And so we send a whole lot of love and appreciation to Jan Stanley and also to John Herman for the way that they have been in service to all of us through the power of prayer. And so who we have this morning up here is, and if you would just kind of raise your hands or whatnot, because I've got it in my notes, not in the order that you're standing. So Ruth Ann Tannery, Donna Sherman, Tiffany Crabtree, and Dorothy Meyer Levine. They are continuing in the program for another year. And our new candidates are Betty Cook, Joan Priolo, and Kevin Zimmerman. Now, these individuals have been called by Spirit to serve as your prayer chaplains, and in answering that call, they have committed to several things. Am I blocking? I'm sorry. They have committed to several things in terms of this service. To serve as keepers of the flame of Unity Church of Overland Park, which is to hold the high watch and the prayer consciousness of this community. To pray with others through monthly phone calls and following our Sunday services. Each one holds all that is shared with them in the strictest of confidence and sacred trust. Each one has a willingness to stand in faith, trusting in God always. Each demonstrates an ongoing commitment to Unity teachings. Each shows genuine interest and respect for the well-being of all congregants as well as their fellow prayer chaplains. And they are either current active voting members of Unity Church of Overland Park or have committed to becoming a member when the next opportunity is offered. Now, not only do these prayer chaplains make themselves available to pray with you one-on-one, but as they conduct this sacred work, their individual and collective awareness establishes a consciousness for the entire congregation. Betty, Joan, and Kevin are now ready to join Ruth Ann, Donna, Dorothy, and Tiffany to serve this community in a very remarkable way through the power of prayer. And I'm now prepared to empower them to act in this important position. So recognizing the authority Spirit has entrusted to you in this sacred role, I now ask each of you to commit to this responsibility. And as I finish asking each of the questions that follow, please answer "I do" together as a group, and please know no marriages are taking place. Just answer "I do," okay? All right, so Betty, Joan, and Kevin, Ruth Ann, Donna, Dorothy, and Tiffany, do you promise to be available to support this congregation on their spiritual journey? To create and hold sacred space within this spiritual community? To lovingly listen and hold what is heard in the strictest of confidence? To pray with the people of Unity Church of Overland Park? Now, before we all join together to share in our unity blessing, I'd like to share an idea about prayer that applies to all of us. And it was one that was included, and I made a note of it back in 2021 during our Fall Faith program. We used the book, The Naked Now, by Reverend Richard Rohr. And in that book, he offered that prayer was meant to be an interior practice to change the one who is praying, which will always happen if we stand calmly before the uncanny and utterly safe presence, capital P, allowing that divine gaze to invade and heal our consciousness. All we can really do is return the gaze. And so I'd like to ask all of us, chaplains as well as congregants, to all warm up our hands as we always do before we offer a blessing to someone. Let's gaze into each other's presence and speak our unity blessing together, because in doing so, we extend our love and appreciation and prayers to this group for answering the call to be and to serve as a prayer chaplain, and they extend their love and appreciation and prayers to you for the many, many blessings that they receive as they partner with you in prayer. And so to each other, we affirm together that we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ as you. So I joyfully present to you our dedicated and growing prayer chaplain team, and to you, your loving spiritual family. Congratulations.
Thank you, Reverend Eileen. Thank you, prayer chaplains. Are you ready?
Get ready.
Get ready. soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Everything I've ever done, everything I've ever seen, everything I've lost or won, everything I've ever dreamed has brought me here to the present moment, here to a new beginning here, and I'm seeing life so clearly now. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Here I go, deeper, deeper, deeper than I've ever been before. Here I go, closer, closer, closer to my sacred source. Here I go, deeper, deeper, deeper than I've ever been before. Here I go, closer, closer, closer to my sacred source. Get ready, my soul.
My soul.
I'm diving in. Get ready,
Get ready.
my soul.
Oh, my soul.
I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Get ready, my soul.
Good morning, angels. I'm Reverend Jackie Fernandez, and while I'm away on sabbatical, it's a great joy to be able to connect with you in this way, to remind you today that you are on my heart and in my prayers daily. I would also like to extend a warm welcome to any first time visitors. I hope that you return, and I would look forward to meeting you in September when I return. Tomorrow is a very special day for me, and I would ask that you hold me in your heart and in your prayers as I will be traveling to Peru, where I will spend 10 days with an Incan shaman and a guide, and we will be taking a deep dive into sacred ceremony. And I can't even describe what I'm feeling in anticipation of this journey. I'm sure I will have stories to tell. And we are in week 4 today of our Summer of Stories series. Reverend Eileen is going to take us into an incubator of personal development and growth. And I want to tell you a story about Reverend Eileen. About 24 years ago, she trained for a marathon, and she was able, after 7 months of training, to complete the Honolulu Marathon in just a little more than 9.5 hours. And I know she must have felt a tremendous sense of accomplishment and pride in her commitment to herself and to her journey. And so I'm sure she would be able to tell you more about that. And now let's receive the blessing of her message today. Bye, angels.
Yeah, that was the longest 9.5 hours of my life, but if you're going to commit to something like that, do it in a place of beauty, because it certainly helps. It certainly helps. But, oh goodness, today is Hump Sunday of our sabbatical series, this Summer of Stories. I mean, can you believe we're already at the midway point, the halfway point of this sacred journey that we began at the very same time that Reverend Jackie embarked upon hers? And we've already written 3 chapters of our collective sabbatical story. You know, we began the journey, and then we explored ways that we could be consciously present to this journey. And then last week we learned how to listen fully to others that are on the journey with us. And that brings us to today. The next guidepost has presented itself. The next chapter is now ready to be written. And as Reverend Jackie said, it is a chapter based on the concept and the process of incubation and the role that that plays in our personal and spiritual development and growth. And so I want to start first by offering a little context around this chapter, because first, what meaning are we going to apply to the word incubator? Well, incubation can offer a picture of stepping away from our surroundings, stepping away from unanswered questions and details, and working hard in our goal-oriented natures, and giving time and space for not only ourselves to breathe, but also space for the questions and the details and the goals themselves to breathe. And a definition I found for an incubator that encapsulates this read that an incubator is a place or situation which permits or encourages the formation and development, as in ideas. And this definition in our context today is very telling to me, because it says that an incubator can permit or it can encourage. And neither of those say that whatever has entered into the incubator will change in any way. It might, but there's no guarantee being offered. And then relative to the permission or encouragement, it notes specifically in that definition that it is for the formation and development of something, such as those ideas. And that speaks to me in terms of there's some sort of action necessary in the incubator in order to assure that, in this particular case, the ideas don't only stay just ideas. They take on greater form in some way. They develop beyond a thought sitting in our minds. And again, no guarantee that any of that is going to happen. So from here, the second piece of context I wanted to offer is just that we have an understanding of personal development and personal growth, because they are not the same. And so quite simply, personal development is a way to becoming, and personal growth is the becoming itself. So some simple examples of personal development might be just increasing or improving our self-awareness, awareness of ourselves, honing our skills, or maybe developing a new one or two, improving our health or our relationships, increasing our spiritual awareness. Whereas personal growth, some examples there would be embracing empathy for others, being more proactive, more focused, having a greater sense of inner power and resiliency, managing stress more effectively, not being as likely to react negatively to outside conditions or circumstances. And so the takeaway here is that this is not an either-or situation. Development and growth do exist uniquely, and they are always working together in us and for us. Both begin by turning within. From a spiritual perspective, to turn within to spirit, that power and presence within us that guides us in all that we do, as well as turning within, just as a means to turn away for a time to the outside noise that's always present around us. So with this context in place, what I'm going to do is focus on 3 possible outcomes, proof that we are indeed experiencing development, experiencing growth in our lives. 3 of them that have been a part of my life process and a very integral part of my story as it stands here today. And some of what I'll share was included in an online article about personal development and personal growth. Unfortunately, it looked like it was kind of a blogging site, and it was originating out of the UK, and the only reference it gave as to the author that I could share, it just said, by Dean. So whoever Dean is, I thank him for offering some of his insights for me and for us today. And so the first possible outcome is the one that speaks to becoming more consciously aware of our thoughts, our feelings, and behaviors. And the incubator that once guided me through these areas was my sabbatical back in 2018. My one and only specific intention that I had for my time away as I was planning it out was that I wanted to go back to each of the geographical locations that I had called home. I felt this really strong call within myself to go back to each place, to spend time there, to spend time with its people, have each experience, and do it all through the lens of the sabbatical. And so I traveled back to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where I was born and raised into my adulthood. I spent a couple of weeks with my sons and their wives and all my grandchildren in Houston, Texas. I spent about a week and a half or so right here in this area. And I spent another week or so at this beautiful harbor and resort town just a little ways outside of Traverse City, Michigan, where I was living at that time. And so I pulled out my journal that I kept during my sabbatical, and I was rereading what I had written after having been at each of those 4 locations. And so I wanted to share with you just a part of what I wrote after my time here in Kansas. When I got to Kansas City, I really felt drawn to the area again. It was a place where I had felt, quote unquote, at home, even when I traveled there for business back in 2021, which was pre-Unity in my life, and so obviously pre-seminary in my life. It was a place I had decided to move to even if I hadn't been accepted into the seminary. It was the place where the spark of potential change in my life had been felt without any questions or doubt coming forth. A place where it felt that way again during my time of sabbatical. Now, there were so many other situations, and remember, situations is included in our definition of incubation and incubator. So many other situations showed up throughout my time of sabbatical that supported or offered insight around this idea of home and how they were all just seemingly pointing towards Kansas City. And yet the idea of that remained just that, an idea, because I did not nurture it. I did not develop that idea any further. You know, for years before my sabbatical, my thoughts around home had always been focused about, at some point in the future, this vocation that I have accepted has taken me, to different places, and so I never really considered any of them home permanently. So it was always in the future. When I retire, when I feel complete with this work, that's when I'll decide where it is I want to live and what kind of home I wanted to create and with the type of people and surroundings I wanted to have around me. And then I also fell back into a form of autopilot. my sabbatical was ending. The calendar was telling me it was time to go back to work, which I was absolutely loving my job at Unity of Traverse City. And I ended up just letting all of those thoughts, all of those feelings and behaviors that had been so alive in me to just lie unattended and therefore undeveloped. And the result was that I moved through the rest of 2018. I flew through 2019. And as 2019 was coming to a close, I felt such discontent in my life, and I didn't know why. And if you know me well, you know that contentment is my primary barometer in my life, and it is the primary desire for my life. And I didn't have any time to consider finding out what the answer was to that question of why. Why is there such discontent moving in me? I didn't have time because a new incubator and a new potential growth outcome soon presented themselves. The specific potential outcome was to grow emotionally and mentally as a person. And the incubator for that showed up in the form of COVID-19. We all experienced the incubator of COVID-19. We were literally incubating in our homes. And we all had experiences that could fill page upon chapter of our stories. And at that time for me, my focus was now 100% and more on my church community and how I could be present to them while also not losing sight of myself in this process we all found ourselves in. You see, so many of my colleagues and I, across more than just Unity faith traditions, we had to do a hard pivot from in-person services to only an online presence. And for churches like mine at that time and others, so many of us, we had not been offering live streaming or Facebook Live. We were all in for in-person services. Many of us did not have a staff and support like we have here. Many of us had to delve into areas that were not in our areas of expertise. And at the very same time, we had some congregations or congregants who weren't tech savvy themselves. Like, what is Zoom? What's a Zoom? How do I get onto this thing called Zoom? Or others who were just flat out resisting doing online church. Now, within 4 days' time of the shutdown in Michigan, my music director and I, we set up a Zoom account and we figured out the basics of using it, and we showed up for our congregation that first Sunday of shutdown. However, it became very clear during that first Sunday of shutdown that my emotional and my mental resolve and capacity would have to be nurtured and developed at the very same time it was being called upon. I knew my focus had to be on pastoring my congregation in new ways, and doing so in ways that would result in some kind of feeling of connection for them in order for it to be of any use or benefit for all that they were going through. You see, if you haven't been there, Traverse City is a gorgeous, gorgeous town. It is a nature wonderland with all the amenities of a larger city at the same time. It is a town where the beauty and the call of the outdoors is present all year round. And COVID-19 and its non-negotiable restrictions at its onset was one of the most difficult and heart-wrenching experiences I ever had to witness others going through. And they were looking to me for anything, just something that they could hold on to that would support them through feelings of fear and anxiety and stress, of having lost their complete normal, of now being separated and isolated from each other. And so needless to say, all the training that I received in the seminary, all the experience of church ministry I had had in the 12 years leading up to 2020, I was calling that all forward and working on developing it further and growing more deeply into it. And again, this was in real time. But one thing I kept remembering, and I kept telling myself, was that while it is important to stay present to and to try to understand and express our emotions and all the feelings that we're having, that doesn't mean we have to be emotionally and mentally perfect. Rather, it just means becoming aware of them and trying to deal with them constructively. And one way I did that was to be really present to the fact that when I write a service message such as this one, it is as much for me as it is for you. consciously allowing what I would share with my congregation to also first be received at great personal depth as it came through me, that was one of the biggest ways I kept myself and my self-care on my to-do list during that time. And by taking that healthy step of self-care first, I found what had always been there, but heretofore untapped reservoirs of strength and energy and resilience and compassion that I could bring forth as I stood in support of others. The third possible outcome for development and growth I want to share with you today has 3 parts to it. And they are developing a better understanding of yourself and who you want to be, taking responsibility for your happiness and your well-being, and third, being willing to change. When we gain better understanding of ourselves, we better understand what motivates us. We better understand what we value most. And we align our thoughts, our goals, our decisions, and choices with them in ways that's such that our life feels like it fits. It feels like it fits, and we are showing up from a place of pure authenticity. And when we take on responsibility for our own happiness and for our own well-being, we own our own power. We're okay with knowing that, we're still going to feel sad. We're still going to have some challenges in our lives. We're going to have some of those negative emotions showing themselves. But owning our power means that we no longer look to someone or something else to make us happy or to make us feel better. We look in the mirror. We look in that mirror and we take action of some kind. And that could be setting a firmer boundary for yourself in your lives, or maybe speaking up when you hear something said that you don't agree with. And oftentimes, all of this understanding that we gain and all of the responsibility that we assume leads us to a place where the universe says, all right, great job. You did great. Now, are you willing to make some changes? This last outcome, it all came together and made itself known to me in the spring of 2021. When I stepped into an incubator that we all know as being the grounds of Unity Village, where I traveled back here to take a time of personal and silent retreat. You see, all that I shared in the first 2 possible outcomes of spiritual and personal growth, all of that I had experienced I was now in a place of feeling ready. And I had space, and I was open to going back to that question of why. Why was that discontent present at the end of 2019? So when I went out to the village, I took a little survey of sorts with me. It was a survey written by Reverend Tony Bain. And Reverend Tony Bain is an icon within Unity. She has worked with our leadership council at least the last 2 years, maybe longer, on their ongoing development and growth in the roles that they have and the responsibilities that they have as being members of our council. And this document was titled, Is It Time to Go or Time for Spiritual Renewal? That was the question that I felt to be at the crux of my discontent. Was I being called to leave Unity Church of Traverse City, or was I just being called into a time of quiet spiritual retreat and renewal? So Tony's document provided 25 scenarios to consider, and the more that were present for you relative to your job, the more likely it was time to leave. And so I sat and I was reading through each of them, really focusing on them, praying on each one, and so many of the 25 were not present. They just weren't present. And then I came to one that said, maybe I just need to get out of here. And the note, there was always a subtext comment that Tony offered after each of the 25, and her note for that one said, quitting is always an option, but if it is time to leave, make sure it's for the right reasons. I kept reading that, and the clarity just began to come forth so clearly, so strongly, and it transported me right back to where I began today, my sabbatical of 2018. And that inner nudge I felt about this area and how it felt so much like home to me. I said before that I loved my job at Unity of Traverse City. We did some wonderful things up there, even at that point in time. I still had half of my tenure to serve there, but I loved it up there. I loved the people, but it didn't feel like home. I came to understand it wasn't time for me to leave the church. It was time for me to leave Traverse City. It was time for me to listen to my heart and understand what it was saying to me. It was time to take responsibility for the contentment that had been missing. It was time for me to go back to the place where the spark of potential change in my life had been felt without any questions or any doubts coming forth. So I traveled back to Traverse City after my retreat, and in less than 3 weeks, the exact date as I recorded it was June 19th of 2021, I made the decision not to renew my contract, which was coming up for renewal, and to move back to Kansas. Even though I did not have a job, I had no place to live secured. You want to know what happened exactly 1 month later, on July 19th? My phone rang, and I answered it, and it was Reverend Jackie with an offer for the position I now hold. Friends, it was the easiest yes I have ever said. And over these last almost 3 years now that I've been back, I have felt like I have been reborn and reborn over and over and over again. We are always in the development of personal and spiritual growth. We may not always be conscious of it, but it is always happening within us. And so my invitation to you today is to take everything that I've offered and metaphysicalize it. And what I mean by that is treat it as we treat scriptural interpretation in Unity. Take the literal words I have shared. Take the literal experiences and outcomes that have been mine, that I have spoken and shared, and ask yourself, how do the concepts underlying them apply to you? How do they apply to your life? Perhaps how do they apply right now in your experience of this time of individual and collective sabbatical? Reflect upon your thoughts and your feelings and your behaviors. Check in with your emotional and mental well-being and discern if there's any self-care being called for. Spend time with the understanding that you have about who you are and who it is you still want to become. And ask yourself if there is an element of happiness that is yours to claim. If the energy of change is in your life, sit with the question. Sit with the question of whether it's a change you're willing to make, and if it's not, sit with that question and try to discern the answer as to why. There's no universal strategy for this process whatsoever. Just simply actively be with your life and with your life experiences. Trust that each and every experience, each and every situation you find yourself in and move through lends itself to the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one. And always have faith that your spiritual and your personal growth and evolvement will always remain in continuous and upward movement, always for your and our greatest good. God bless you.
Thank you, Reverend Eileen.
Embrace the stillness, embrace the breath, embrace the spirit of love. Embrace the stillness. Embrace the light. Embrace the power of love. Embrace the stillness. Embrace the now. Embrace the spirit of love. Embrace the stillness. Embrace the breath. Embrace the spirit of love.
And so we take a moment now to just relax where we are. If we choose, closing our eyes or softening our gaze. Whatever's most comfortable and which opens your heart to Spirit's presence in you. In this time of sabbatical, each of us is invited into a holy and sacred walk with God. And we honor and we celebrate all the walks that are now in motion. For our meditation today, I'd like to offer something I wrote several years ago. The first letter of each statement, when put together, spells out the phrase, walks with God. And I invite you to allow each of these statements to gently enter into and begin to settle into your hearts. Waking today to new levels of wisdom in me. Aware of the abundance of gifts each day offers. Listening for divine guidance that makes straight my path. Knowing that I am not alone, for God is with me. Steadfast in prayer, my spiritual consciousness expands and it rises to greater heights. Wholeness in every aspect of my life manifests in wondrous ways. I am a unique individual and infinite expression of Spirit. Transforming through the creative power of my thoughts and each positive action I take. Harmony and healing are at work in my heart and in my life. Gratitude abounds and pours forth, offered for the one presence and one power in my life and in the universe. Divine order unfolds this day. As we take a moment to just rest with these truths in a time of silence. And so it is that we continue our walks with God. Amen.
Embrace the stillness. Embrace the breath. Embrace the spirit of love. Embrace the stillness. Embrace the now. Embrace the spirit. Spirit of love.
Reverend Eileen shared that as she's preparing her services to give as a gift to each of you, to this community, that it is first a gift that she receives herself. The blessing of the message that is coming through and the ways in which it incubates within her and then manifests outwards as a gift to us. And in the same way as each of you gives your gifts of time, of talent, of treasure to this community, it is that gift first to you of abundance. That gift that you hold within you, that you incubate within you, that abundance consciousness, knowing that it is the flow of God, that then becomes a gift that we receive and give back to the community. So as you take your offerings into your minds, into your hands, into your hearts, into your fingertips, for those of you online or donating online, take with you the knowing that it is a gift that circulates. It is part of this flow that is incubating within you right now. Please join with me in sharing our offertory blessing. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am joy-filled and grateful.
I don't care what's on TV about the state of the economy. I don't believe much of what I see. I just know what I know to be. God is so good all the time. God is so good all the time. God is so good, so good, so good all the time. I'm walking by faith, not by sight, cause what seems wrong today, you know, tomorrow might be right. So all is well, that's all good. troubles and woes. So good through the peaks and the valleys. So good. And feel still, I know it's so good. So good. So good all the time. Yeah, my God is so good through my darkest hour. So good. You know I feel that mighty power. So good to carry me through. So you best believe it true. So good. So good. So good. All the time. So good. All the time. God is so good all the time.
So good all the time, and we are so grateful for Terry Swope and the UCOP band. Thank you for your blessings today. We also want to honor and bless our Leadership Council. If you serve on the Leadership Council, please stand so we can just send you our warmth, our love with our gaze. And those not standing, not in the room, we hold you in the light. Thank you for all you do to be the light for our community. Quick reminder, we have our Yarn Blessings group next Sunday at 2 p.m. This is the teaching session, and all are welcome. Please join with me now in speaking our mission statement together. Unity Church of Overland Park transforms lives and empowers people to make a difference in the world. Join us next week as we continue our Summer of Stories series. I'll be offering chapter 5 of our sabbatical story with the message titled Infinite Possibilities. Yes, now I'd like to welcome up Amy.
Hi, everybody. No kids today, but I wanted to put a bug in your ear. We are starting to plan our Halloween festivities, and we will be looking for volunteers. So no dates just yet, but again, just putting a little bug in everybody's ear that we will need your help this year. So if you would please rise for the final song.
Thank you so much, Amy. Please rise. Join us for our final song.
May the long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way out. Guide your way out. May the long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way. Guide your way. Have a blessed Sunday. Greet those around you. A smile, a wave, a hug, whatever feels good will be good. May the long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way. Guide
Right where you are, please join me for the prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Go and be well this blessed week, my friends. God bless.